Madam Chair, in 1991, the People's Movement MMD won the election with a landslide at both parliamentary and presidential levels. In this one single event, Zambia changed from a one-party state to a multi-party state, from a centralized system of economic government to a liberalized economic system. In that single event, Zambia shifted from a government-controlled media to a liberalized media in the nation. The nation went into a frenzy to celebrate the return of fundamental freedoms: freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion and belief. This political and economic shift birthed a new nation determined to unleash human innovation and a spirit of hard work in a private sector-driven economy. 20 years after the dramatic victory of the movement for multi-party democracy, the Zambian people came to a conclusion that the mission that they had given the MMD had been accomplished. In September 2011, the MMD was voted out of office and replaced by the Patriotic Front. The fate of the MMD became clear when in 2001, the then Movement for Multi-Party Democracy candidate, Levi Mwanawasa, only managed 29% of the national vote, beating his arch-rival Anderson Mazoka of the UPND by a paltry 2%. Mr. Mazoka got 27% of the vote. Madam Chair, this signified the lowest mandate any presidential candidate has ever been given in the election in our country to date. Zambians were clear that their once powerful movement had accomplished its mission. Levi Mwanawasa was a breath of fresh air with a determination to lead by example. But even with his moral fortitude, he was only able to stretch the next mandate by 6% in the 2006 election, where he got 35% of the vote. Upon his death in 2008, his successor, Rupiah Banda, got away with a sympathy vote of 40% ahead of Michael Sata's 38%, a difference of only 35,000 votes. These numbers showed a winding down of the movement for multi-party democracy in the nation. This trend was consummated in 2011 when the movement for multi-party democracy finally lost power to the PF. MMD was thrown into opposition politics, a place totally unfamiliar to a party that never knew opposition politics and the challenges of opposition. After a highly contested election in 2012, MMD National Convention, the lot fell on me when I won the presidency with a historic 70% of the national vote. My assignment was to navigate the new opposition party through the dark alleys of opposition politics. Leading a disgruntled and fearful party, we had to face the attendant problems of leadership, the struggles similar to what UNIP faced when they lost the election in 1991. Madam Chair, thankfully today, although we came through it with tears, bruises, and blood on our clothes, we have made it through the darkest storm since the inception of our great party. Today, with a broken ship in our hands, we face yet another frontier that needs for us to consult our deepest strength of resilience. Scripture reminds us of a similar scenario when the ship that was taking St. Paul to Rome to stand before Caesar hit a rock and split in many pieces. Some swam to the shore, while others got on broken pieces of the ship and arrived on the other side of the river. Today, the mighty ship of MMD that brought us into our current multi-party dispensation has faced discoloration or, to some extent, disintegration because of conflict as a result of the impact of the 2011 electoral loss. Madam Chair, but you, members of this convention that are gathered from all of our 10 provinces, you got over to this side. Some of us swam to the other side. Some of you came here on broken pieces. But it remains for me to congratulate all of you for your resilience, for still being here with us, regardless of what we went through. We may have lost the ship at sea, but we are all still here. We are strong and undeterred until we reach our destiny to change this nation. Madam Chair, the MMD mission of establishing a vibrant multi-party system of government has been accomplished. The ship has run aground, but the sailors and the passengers are all safe on the shore. Following the 4-year consultation on the renewal of our political party, the 10 provinces resolved, amongst many other resolutions, that we change the tired name of our party from MMD to a new name, political organization. Fellow citizens, today, on the 6th of November, 2025, I have the rare privilege and honor to present to you the New Nation Party as our new outfit starting today. And as we transition, I'm going to break my speech for just 10 minutes as we now transition from MMD to New Nation Party. And I would like for the members of this great crowd to now switch in 10 minutes, put on your new regalia, change everything, and you keep your eyes on the screen. Congratulations. Please keep your eyes on the screens. Keep your eyes on the screens, and the rest of you, please begin to change your outfits. Wow, look at that. What a sight, what a sight. Oh my goodness. Put the music on, put the music on.
New nation, we will rise and never fall. Never leaves to bless us all. Together we will stand tall. New nation, peace and justice will remain. Stronger hearts with hope regain. Our victory will sustain. New nation, we will rise and never fall. never leads to bless us all. Together we will stand tall.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Because of time, we are going to cut off some activities so that we can now speak to what has happened just now. Madam Chair, please let's all be seated. We only have a few minutes to close up this issue. I want to ask that you give me your undivided attention, because the words that I'm about to say are extremely important. Shh. Shh. I have to say that you really look beautiful from here. I can't resist, but just look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Look at those flags. Look at that. Wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Madam Chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the New Nation Party is more than a political party. It is more than a movement. It is a building site, a site on which a new nation shall be built. The New Nation Party is more than a political party. It is more than a movement. It is a building site. Out of this site, we are going to build for ourselves a new nation, a nation with its own homegrown program and laws, a nation with its own grown educational system, a nation confident in its ability to manage and exploit its own natural resources, a nation whose character is anchored in our shared Christian values. Ladies and gentlemen, at 61 years old, we must now start to envision a mature, self-governing, and self-sufficient nation, a nation that can survive even being abandoned by our neighbors, a nation able to feed itself, a nation without debt, a nation in charge of its own resources. Today marks the third independence of our country. In 1964, we got our first independence from Britain. In 1991, we got our second independence from the UNIP's one-party participatory democracy system of government. Today, we announce the third independence from foreign control and foreign domination. We are now of age to take care of our own business. But what does the new name mean? The journey to create a new nation begins today. New, the word new, means it shall be a departure from the old, a change of direction, a change of mindset, a change of model of governance. The new nation shall project, we are going to project it as the most ambitious building project that Zambia has ever embarked on, because we want to change things from the way they have been done. Anything that we used to do has not improved the quality of life of our citizens. We are going to question it. And we are not renovating our country. We are not painting over failed policies. We are creating a new nation based on common sense decisions that are going to make an ordinary Zambian benefit from the resources of his own country. And it is important, if you were to ask me, what kind do you see a nation? I want to give you a glimpse. This is not a manifesto time, but I want to give you a glimpse of the Zambia that I see. I see a Zambia today with order. A lot of you that go overseas to other countries, the reason you go there, you appreciate the order, the systems in London, the order, the systems in Washington, the cleanliness of the cities, the possibility of justice working for everybody. We admire those things. New Nation wants to bring that order to Zambia. No garbage shall be thrown in public spaces, for instance. This alone will make sure that cholera will be a thing of the past. This thing alone will make sure that the streets of our country are clean, and anybody who trashes our cities is going to face heavy consequences. This is the New Nation. The New Nation will insist that we reduce the numbers of accidents on the roads. The reason they are there is because most of our drivers are unlicensed, vehicles are unlicensed, and the road network is not serving the interest of all Zambians. So we are going to focus on a nation that actually works, a country that actually works. We are going to remove disorder, confusion, and bring order in the systems of running government. Corruption is going to be fought to the end. The punishment for a corrupt official will be so grievous that no one would like to go in that direction. So today, I wanted you to understand that we do not come on this platform with the same message we had yesterday. Now at my age and with our experience, it's time to change Zambia for sure and for real. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's new. But allow me to now just speak to you about a few things that I believe we need to take care of. I want you to understand that the reason we have decided to do this is because we want Zambia to take back the ownership of its resources. Today, Zambia provides and produces the highest quality of emeralds, and Zambia is the first emerald producing nation in the world. But we don't have a single emerald millionaire in our country. That problem must come to an end. If we are leading in emeralds, the millionaires from emeralds must be in Zambia. But in order to achieve that, we have to change our thinking. We are no longer going to be bending our knee to borrow or to get from others. We are going to use our own resources to give ourselves a voice around the international table of dialogue. And I thought that that was important for me to talk about. This, in my view, is what the New Nation is going to bring. I want to give you another example. We are sitting ducks, not just Zambia, but the rest of Africa. We are sitting ducks. All of us today, we are tied up to the internet. We are tied up to Facebook. We are tied up to social media. We are tied up to TikTok. But we don't control any one of those satellites that give us those services. And the problem is, if those people that control these things we use decide to switch off the satellite, they will ground to a halt and will go into confusion. I would like to propose that under the New Nation, Zambia shall not be kept or taken unawares. We shall prepare ourselves for eventuality, because the New Nation will be a nation that can stand on its own. I'll give you an example. A few minutes ago, we lost power because ZESCO could not supply power to us. Just a few minutes. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Just a few minutes ago, ZESCO could not power our conference. And we remained in the dark for more than an hour. And that is what is bound to happen to African countries. If we don't have our own genset, Zambia must employ what we are calling as a New Nation, a genset economy, a genset social system, a genset way of governance, which means that if ZESCO goes, the genset turns on. And it's not every Zambian home that goes dark. when zest fails. Some homes immediately get power from their gensets. The new nation, our vision is to make sure that even if America is angry with us, even if the UK is angry with us, even if Russia is angry with us, and switch off the internet, switch off the Facebook, switch off everything that is supposed to bring the government down, the new nation will switch on our own homegrown gensets. We shall not bow. We shall not bow. Because if you don't have your own gensets, everything they tell you from Washington, you start to do it. Every time from Russia, you start to do it. But in order for Zambia to stand strong, it shall become the first nation on the continent of Africa that shall say, you can switch it all off. We are ready to switch on our genset. We shall have our food. We shall have our energy. We shall have our business transactions. Our banks will continue to run. Food will be in our storehouses. This is the ethos of this party. It is the party that sits down. And you know where we got this from? We got it from the scriptures. We got it from the Bible. We are now employing what has worked in the scriptures before. Joseph was brought into Egypt, and the Pharaoh got a dream that for seven years there was going to be famine in the land. And Joseph interpreted that dream. He said, there's going to be 7 years of famine, of plenty, of famine, of plenty, and then 7 years of famine. Then he said to Pharaoh, let's store up food for 7 years so that when all food runs out, Egypt will still have the food. That is a genset philosophy we are bringing to this country. We should never be kept nappy. Egypt became a superpower because of Joseph. All nations began to go to Egypt to look for food. All nations will be coming to Zambia for them to be sustained, because they will find us ready with our genset plan. And we have what it takes. We are not poor. We have what it takes. But allow me, after talking about the essence, we would discuss this when we give the manifesto. But today, allow me now to make a few points and I'll sit down. I want to talk about our relationship with our colleagues in the alliance. Someone is asking, so what's going to happen now that you have changed the name? Are you going to continue in the alliance with your colleagues? And I want to speak to this subject so that all of us are on the same page. Madam Chair, today we have announced what I believe is going to change the trajectory of Zambian politics. The New Nation Party will maintain the working relationship with the UPND in order to serve the people of Zambia. On 30th of October 2024, the MMD signed a memorandum of understanding to form an alliance towards the 2026 election. This MOU remains in force under the new party name. As part of this MOU, I wish to reaffirm that I shall not put my name forward for presidency in the coming election, but shall support my brother, the candidature of President Hakainde Hichilema. The reason for this decision is based on love for country. Listen, Zambians, I have not made this decision, or we have not made this decision because I'm not able to run as president. I'm probably one of the most qualified and the most senior political leader in this country today. So running a country is not a scare to me. I know you may not believe that, but I know that I qualify to run this country. But when you're in an alliance, you have to use common sense. You have to come to a place where you realize that in an alliance, you can only have one presidential candidate. In an alliance, you have to look at the situation as it prevails. My brother HH is already in government. And this is not the first time we have worked with UPND. Some of the people think we're working with them because they're in government. We have worked with UPND when both of us were in the opposition, when both of us were being thrown in same prisons. And we are getting ourselves ready for that period. But for now, we support our colleagues, and we know why we are doing that, to make sure that unity in the political sphere is maintained. Some people have challenged our alliance, claiming that we should stand alone as a party. Others claim that we are doing so for personal benefits. I want you to listen to this, Zambia. Partnerships and friendships are forged in crucibles of fiery furnaces. At a personal level, President Hakainde Hichilema and I have observed the biblical truth of being a brother's keeper. Whether it was my house in Kabulonga being surrounded by paramilitary police, or when I was arrested and convicted and sent to Mwembeshi maximum prison, HH was one of the first to arrive at my house and to arrive at Mwembeshi. And the day he arrived at Mwembeshi, after I'd been locked up and convicted, there was heavy rain like this. They could not allow him to come in. I still have a picture of him outside being soaked in rain because his brother was in prison. And then somebody came to me and said, don't support your friend, don't work with HH because of this reason. Where were you when HH was there by my side? When I was in jail, where were you? I didn't see you there. So you cannot tell me that because you have a problem with someone, I should also have a problem with that person. I believe HH has shown his commitment to his brothers, to his friends, to the movement for multi-party democracy, now New Nation Party, and we are standing here as partners in this thing. So whether it was at my house, which was surrounded by the police, or Mwembeshi, he was there. Whether it was in Luansha, when HH was being tear gassed and thrown into the jails, I was there. We were there to make sure that we forge that partnership to save this country. When he was in Mukoweko, we were there with him, with the First Lady now, trying to see how we can get him out. So it's not a today relationship. This is a brother's keeper relationship, not only between me and him, but our two political parties have worked together before. Now, I would like to say one more thing about some people that are using hate. I would like for us to criticize each other. I would like for us to criticize the president, this government, because that's what democracy is all about. But to do that, you don't have to hate. You can differ with anybody, but you don't have to hate. This is why I have a problem with what we are calling the abuse of human rights. There are people who believe that freedom of expression and freedom of speech means you insult without anybody stopping you. It means that you abuse your friend without anybody raising a hand. I beg to differ. We can do politics without insulting one another. And I believe that where we are going, this new type of politics will be promoted by the new nation so that we can have a civilized system of doing politics moving forward. I wish that most of the anger in the country today comes from those who are being held accountable in the courts of law. I want to claim and to be clear that HH, as the president, does not have power to make the judiciary do his bidding. Our judges are honorable men and women who have served this nation for many years. Most of them were judges before HH was president. In fact, HH appeared before a lot of these judges for his own cases in the opposition. So please know that you may not like someone, but if God has given somebody a moment and they are not frustrating the efforts of improving the economy, the Nation Party is going to stand together shoulder to shoulder with the president and his party to bring this country to a place where God wants it to be. Allow me now to use this opportunity to deal with a subject that is very current. It is happening as I speak. I want to talk about the Tanzanian election because I have received so many questions about this election, and I thought that I needed to talk about this election. If you remember, in 2023, President Hakainde Hichilema and the SADC in the region, they dispatched me to go to Zimbabwe and oversee the Zimbabwean election. I went there to represent not just Zambia, but the whole SADC region. When we looked at that election, the SADC report simply said that the election in SADC had fallen short of the requirements of the SADC principles and requirements. And that meant that it did not meet the standard of SADC. Just for that word, Honorable SG, just for that statement in my report, all hell broke loose and they wanted to kill me, that you have said the Zimbabwean election is not good. And I'm saying this to say this. Some of our colleagues here in Zambia, in the politics, they raised their voices, they condemned me, and even made a documentary about how evil NEVERS MUMBA is, how he has disturbed Zimbabwe, which is a great friend of ours. Then they went after HH and said HH and NEVERS MUMBA are the ones that are trying to disturb the relationship between Zimbabwe and Zambia. I want to clear the air today. When I was going, I asked President Hakainde Hichilema, what do you want me to do in Zimbabwe? He said nothing except to make sure the election is free and fair. And that's what I went there for. But the same people who insulted HH and myself for Zimbabwe and saying HH should have gone to Zimbabwe, although we were represented by our Minister of Foreign Affairs, now they're angry because HH went to Tanzania, where we have strategic interests in that country, and the interest is that our business and our survival comes through that port. And in leadership, that's why you see Donald Trump, he believes in democracy. But when it comes to business of this country, the interest of America is number one. He goes to Saudi Arabia, which is a dictatorship. He goes to China and shakes hands. He goes to North Korea and shakes hands with what they call a dictator. Why does he do that? Because the interest of his nation is number one. You can be angry with a bad neighbor or a good neighbor, but you have to make sure that the interests of your country are protected. It does not mean you have agreed with what has happened in your neighbor's house. But it is important as a leader to be sure. What I'm not happy about is hypocrisy. The same people who said you should have gone there, now they say, why did you go there? That's why the presidency is complicated. They say, why didn't you go to Zimbabwe? So he goes to Tanzania. They said, why did you not go to Zimbabwe? Now he has gone to Tanzania. They say, why did you go to Tanzania? Governance is not simple. As a new nation party, we endorse that move, not that we agree with the election, because that has to be sorted out within Tanzania. And as we help them sort it out, we want the route to remain open. We want business between Zambia and the Tanzanians to continue, just like business has continued between Zimbabwe and Zambia. That is our position on that. And I think we need to move forward and understand that we are going to condemn any bad election. But That does not mean that we cannot do business with that country unless something radical is agreed upon that we do not do that. That is our position on that today. So today I want to say that the greatest threat facing our nation today is the infectious hate and division along political and tribal lines. NNP seeks to build a new nation united in purpose and in development. And to achieve this goal, we must defeat tribalism in whatever form it shows itself. The NNP shall embrace a higher approach in removing this cancer that continues to paralyze our efforts to unite the nation. We shall commit to public service men and women of morality and integrity, citizens who have the necessary qualifications to hold public office based on capacity and not on tribe. We shall do away with the so-called tribal balancing and replace it with the character and capacity balancing. For too long, we have glorified tribe above competence. The new nation shall defeat this scourge. And quickly, on debt as our party. There is no justification whatsoever for Zambia to still be contracting unsustainable debt at 61 years. The NNP commits to use our abundant natural resources to clear all debt and stay out of consumption debt. The NNP commits itself to transforming Zambia from a borrowing nation to a lending nation within 10 years of the construction process that we start. The NNP on natural resources commits itself to placing all God-given natural resources in the hands of Zambians. Investors will come to support and work alongside Zambians to exploit these resources. With Zambia being the world's leading emerald producer, we commit to empower Zambians to become millionaires in as far as emeralds, copper, cobalt, gold, and other minerals are concerned. Our resources must work for our people and not for foreigners. New nation on corruption. We shall introduce laws against corruption similar to those in countries like Japan and China, which trigger life and sometimes death sentences. Any public officer charged with corruption will be removed from government immediately to face justice. If he is acquitted, he shall be given his job back. These are interventions, amongst others, that will help us to preserve the limited national resources and improve the quality of life of all Zambians. Our goal is to create a nation of accountability and integrity in our society and our people to fear taking what doesn't belong to them. We shall spring clean the judiciary to ensure that they are not corrupt themselves in a way so that when they convict one of corruption, it is done justly. Laws should be made that implicate an erring judge with double punishment for any miscarriage of justice. Corrupt judges might have to face stiffer penalties. You know, in this new nation, sometimes I sleep and have a dream of one day seeing you leaving your car in the city of Lusaka in town center with the key inside without locking the car and go away and come the following day and still find your car. That's my vision for the new nation. My vision for the new nation is to fight crime so much that you can go to bed without locking your house, without the fear that somebody will break into your house. And by the way, other nations have achieved that. And if we are serious, we can achieve a nation of order. Now to the young people as I close, the Gen Z. New nation shall focus on the youth. We shall provide the platform to champion the cause of the Gen Z. We shall listen to you. We shall give you your roles and make you as contractors on site to build a new nation which meets your dreams your aspirations. Zambia has some of the most talented young people in the world. They are breaking international records around the world. We need to embrace them. We need to encourage them. We need to push them forward. We need to support them financially and morally. I was just reading not too long ago about the Munali boys who secured 2 wins at the UN's AI for Good challenge. At the global level, 2 boys from Munali became the first ones in AI, artificial intelligence competition in Russia. What can we not do if we encourage our young people? We have a young lady called Sampa the Great, a Zambian musician making global impact, collaborating with the likes of Angelique Kidjo and many others. We are proud of this new generation of Zambians. Let me close by saying, to construct a new nation, we need every skill on site. We need men, we need women, we need the youth, we need persons with disabilities, educated and uneducated. We need to leave divisive party politics behind and embrace a common vision of a new, united and prosperous nation. Zambia shall become, in my lifetime, a nation on the continent in protecting its natural resources and its technological advancement. Let us put aside tribe, political party differences, and get the construction tools in our hands to build for ourselves a new nation. May God bless the New Nation Party, and may God bless the nation of Zambia and the people of this great nation. I thank you, and may God bless you all. Can we all stand? I would like for us now to use our new symbol as we listen to the anthem of New Nation as we close and go towards the close. And I would like all of us to put our fist on the heart. Ukuwoko pamutima. That is our new symbol.
Rise and stand tall. Zambia rise, our time has come. We'll never see MUMBA. We march on, see the light shining bright. A brand new hope is in our sight. Never lives with a heart so bold. A brighter future we will hold. Voice of truth will make us strong. Together we will move along. No turning back, we claim the day. A nation rising in